So why am I taking my Back to Eden Garden wood chips and covering it in landscaping fabric? Well, here's why. The past 2 seasons, I didn't do anything out here. And I had a bunch of weeds and crap growing in here. And past 2 videos, we worked together, if you've been following along, and we got rid of a lot of them. I took the tractor, pulled back the wood chips, sifted through it, burnt a lot of the grass and weed plants that were in here, but there's still a lot of seed, there's still a lot of roots. I know it's gonna come back. So alternatively, what I could do, and what I've done in the past, is pull the wood chips back, put cardboard down to smother it, and then put the wood chips back on top of that, on top of the cardboard. Problem is, this stuff now is mixed in with the wood chips, and the wood chips have really composted and they're breaking down a lot, and it grows really good in it. So what I really need to do is I need to try to kill what's in here right now. And then in the future, add fresh wood chips on top of that once I can hopefully kill this seed bank. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put down some landscaping fabric on top of the wood chips that I've taken the big pieces of weeds and growth out of. And I'm hoping it will break down what tries to grow this year underneath of this. The seeds and the roots of what's left will try to grow. It won't have sunlight, it'll starve and burn up and die underneath of this. And hopefully that'll kill a lot of it so that in the future seasons I can take this off and put fresh wood chips all throughout here on top of it, and then also do a better job keeping up with it so it doesn't get like that again. That's my goal, that's my plan. So, watch me do it. All right, so I took off work this afternoon in hopes that I can have a little bit of extra time to speed up this process, getting the garden ready. Like I mentioned before, I got some plant starts the other day and I really need to get going on this. So I'm gonna start off with finishing up leveling out everything in the garden regarding the wood chips. You can see we got some bigger piles in the back there. I'm gonna take the tractor and try to break them up and push them back a little bit so that I can fill in this middle spot here, make it kind of more level before I put the landscaping fabric down. So that is what I'm going to do. All right, so I feel like I've got that fairly leveled out for the most part. Again, I'm leaving this trench on the sides here so I can kind of tuck the remaining wood chips underneath of the landscaping fabric as it butts up against these boards on the sides. There's the landscaping fabric I'm going to be using, and the staples, and my mallet to put the staples down, and the person doing it. What I think I'm going to do is go ahead and take the first side board out and then the front boards out, and then I'll roll out my first strip here. Again, it's going to go under these boards. I'll have it come under a little bit and then staple it on this side, staple it on this side to hold it down, and then we'll tuck the wood chips kind of underneath right up against that board. So yeah, let's do it. I'll put this in a little tater bag for now so it don't blow away. Don't let me forget that's in there. Y'all remind me now. Don't let me forget that. 6 foot by 25 foot of this here stuff. So I've got some really great news, and that is this is folded. What do I mean? Well, in order to use the full 6 foot, this is just 3 foot, right? It's folded right here, and I gotta unroll this entire roll to do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna unroll this, I guess, the first 3 foot down, and then I'm gonna cut it on the end, and then I will unfold, because that's ridiculous. I'm not going to unroll this entire roll to have it 6 foot wide to start with. You'll see. Just watch me. You'll see. I'm going to go ahead and move these blocks, and then I'm going to set it on top of it as I unroll to kind of help fold it down. Because this fold is here on this end, I'm gonna have to start on the other end of the garden. Let's move over there. Okay, so. All right, after I get this roll down, I'm gonna start from the other end of the garden, I think, because that way the wind works with me and not against me. Wind's blowing this way, and it's trying to roll this up. If I start pinning it down on this end and blows that way, it'll blow it hopefully flat. So we'll switch that up after this side. Okay, so to cut this, from my understanding, this kind of stuff, when you cut it, this material can fray, and they say it's best to burn it. So I'm gonna try to burn it. See if this here rock will let me staple that. Maybe if I put it around maybe here, it'll go down. Nope, it won't. Nope, that won't work. There. Yep. About here. Aha. Much better. And let's put him back about where he was, or where I burnt it. This is why I'm going to start at the other end after this, because the wind keeps blowing it that way. If I'm putting it down from that end this way and going this way with it, it'll blow it the right way, hopefully. This is why you should work with nature, not against it. There's a lot of this stuff in here still, and I'm gonna trust the landscaping fabric to do its thing and kill this. I hope it does. So we got our first row down. Not perfect, but it'll do. Hopefully it'll kill the weeds in there. So now I'm gonna go to this side and start from here and work my way back. What do you think there, kitty? You like it? All right, so now I'm at the back of the garden, and we're gonna roll this out down there. I went ahead and moved the stones in the wood, and we'll go ahead and roll this out. First, I think I'm gonna pin it down a little bit first, though. Here, let's see how that goes. This is where I burnt it, and it's kind of burnt together. Hopefully burning that edge will keep it from unraveling. Folks online say that works, so that's what I'm trying. Figure it'd be a good idea to go ahead and kind of hold this end down a little bit here while I pull it out and unroll it. Put 3 staples in this. let me go ahead and put this brick down here where it belongs. Hold that down a little bit. And I'll do the same thing on this side going down. Perfecto. Ground's nice and soft most places, so it goes in pretty well. Let's do a quick little time lapse here while I work. So the whole idea I had of like leaving a mound here, and then once the landscaping fabric went up to here, down the side of this board and underneath, tuck that in so that it's flush up against the board with the landscaping fabric in between it and going over it. That's not working. It's hard to tuck it like that, like I thought it would be. So what's working better is if I just kind of taper this, kind of a gentle slope towards the board so it gets to the level of the ground where the board is. And that's what I'm doing instead, and it seems to be working better. I was hoping to have, like I said, wood chips all the way up to the top of this board here, but it's down here. And then it kind of mounts back up as it goes. So that's what we're gonna have to do. Oh well. Stapling that down where the two sheets meet and making sure I have a good 3 to 6 inches of overlap so that nothing grows up in between here and comes out. It's getting cold out here. I'm gonna go grab a jacket. All right, we're getting there. We got a nice patch of it over here. We are getting there. It's getting to be evening time now, so I'm hoping I can get this done before it gets dark. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna need to take this temporary fencing down from this tree right now to put the fabric underneath of it. And I'm gonna try to put it right back, because again, I don't want the deer mutilating that poor tree. That's not gonna work. Oops. I got some new posts out of the building and some more deer netting. We'll have to redo this. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray this with some copper fungicide to keep the apple cedar rust at bay. It's been a little while since I've sprayed it. It's probably a good time to do it. Keep that apple cedar rust at bay. I would cut all this mess off of those posts and reuse those, but I'm in a hurry tonight, so that's why I grabbed those new ones and put them out over there. Here's my zip ties, just got those out. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and do the next roll of this stuff out tonight and roll it through here. I'll have to cut it around these blueberry bushes and that apple tree. And so this will be the fun roll, the fun line here where I get to do that stuff. And then I'll call it a night for tonight, because unfortunately it's going to start getting dark, and it's probably about as far as I'm going to get because I have to do some other things tonight before it gets dark, before I go in. So yeah, I was hoping really hard to get at least all of the landscaping fabric down tonight, but sadly that's not the case. A part of me wonders if I should just burn the material and burn holes in it to poke these things through, but I mean, the shorter one that might work. I don't know. They're so tall though, the other stuff, I don't think it's going to work to get it over top of it, and the way this stuff blows around. I feel like burning the edges will keep it from unraveling better, but I think I'm just going to have to cut it so I can fit it a little bit closer. We'll see how it goes. That one's not as perfect, but it will do. Next staple goes here. To get this around, I might have to cut both sides, because this tree's much taller. That'll be enough to get me over. Yep. Cool. Now, you look pretty good there. All right, so apple tree's in there good. All right, looking pretty good overall. Again, my goal is not to leave this landscaping fabric on top of my wood chips long term. I'm just doing it for this season. And my hope is this. I'm hoping that it will break down all of these weeds and grass and crap that's mixed in here and seeds that are trying to grow. I'm hoping they'll try to germinate, and without sunlight, they'll get cooked under this stuff and die. And only the plants that I want, I've cut out or burn holes through to plant, will be able to poke through this year. And then next year, my hope is taking this off, and I'm hoping that my wood chips will be in better shape without all this crap growing in it. All right, so now we've got to put some stuff back up around this apple tree to protect it from the deer until I can come back out, as I said in previous videos, and put a fence around this entire garden. Right now, I'm trying to put this landscaping fabric down, then I'll do the big fence, and then I'll start planting. But for tonight, I don't want this to get eaten over the next few days until I'm at the point of doing the big fence around the whole garden. So, I need to do something temporary. All right, that should be plenty good enough for the deer netting around the apple tree. It's not perfect, but it'll be enough to deter the deer from eating it right now. And with that said, it's starting to rain on me, so I'm gonna call it quits, call it a night. This is a good stopping point, clean up my crap, and head in for the night. I'll see you guys the next day that we're out here. All right, we're back out here working on the garden again tonight. We're gonna try to finish up the landscaping fabric. But first, these plants are pretty dry. These starts, I'm gonna go ahead and water these guys. We've got some lettuce back here in the back. We've got a couple different varieties of peppers in here. I've got several strawberry plants. Oh gosh. It's very windy out here tonight, so I'm trying to get these, one, weighted down with water so that they don't keep blowing over, and two, they need water in general. It's hot today. Anyways, we also have two different varieties of cauliflower out here, and we've got broccoli and pickling cucumbers. Like I said, it's very windy out here tonight, so I'm just gonna put this thing on time lapse, let you guys watch me work, and shut up. So I just had to fight a snake. First time I've ever had to do that in the garden. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's been a concern of mine about this landscaping fabric, is I'm really hoping it doesn't encourage snakes to hide underneath of it. I don't think that's where this snake was per se. I don't think. I'm not sure if you saw it on film, but I picked up the roll of landscaping fabric to do my second pass back this way. And as soon as I picked it up, heard something thud fall out of it. And it was a snake. So I'll blow in the heck right in a second, but it was up, curled up inside that roll. That roll there. And it's probably my fault, because last time I was out here, it started raining on me, and I just left the whole roll out here in that corner over there. And so I guess the whole time I was rolling it across, I'm assuming he was inside of there for the ride, and either that or he just crawled from somewhere over here into it, and I just did not see him over here, which I don't think happened. I don't think that was the case. Yeah, that wasn't fun. I don't like snakes. Anyways, I believe it was a corn snake. Correct me if I'm wrong. First time I've ever seen a corn snake out here. They've always been black snakes. And I always let them go because they keep the poisonous ones away, is what they say. Well, I had this corn snake on the end of my rake, and I was going to carry it across the street away from my garden. Let him live. Well, he kept fighting with me and did not want to stay on there and snapping at me. So he kept getting away and trying to crawl under my deck, and I'm not going to have him hiding there by the house. So I had to take my rake and pretty much pin him to the ground while I ran and got a spade, and I had to chop his head off. I wasn't going to have him hiding under my deck and freaking us out every day, popping out, and we don't know when he's going to be there. I don't like snakes, but like I said, I'll let him live. But he would not let me take him to safety. He kept snapping at me and trying to get away. So I had to chop his head off. His head down that hole there where my spade went down in the ground and severed him. So for all you snake lovers out there, I'm sorry that probably makes you mad. I kept picking him up, I don't know how many times, and he just kept snapping at me and fighting me and wouldn't let me do it. So yep, I'm going to have him hang around here. So unfortunately, off with his little head. Hey, that scared me. I was not expecting that to fall out of the roll. Alright, so I'm going to check the roll again now and to make sure there's no more snakes in there before I unravel some more. Alright, let's go back to the time lapse. So, ran out of fabric right about there. I'm almost out of staples too, so I might have to get some more. Apparently I didn't estimate correctly when I estimated how much I would need. Also, this little critter just crawled out from underneath of that, so all the more reason for me to have a concern about critters getting under this. I'm hoping once I staple it all down, especially with the edges and the boards, it'll keep things from crawling up underneath, but I don't know. We'll see. These out here I've been stapling more frequently. That first one I just stapled on the edges, and I think, yeah, the very end in a couple of places. So I probably ought to put some staples like in the middle of that to hold it down a little bit better, like I've been doing the newer sections, like through here. I've got concerns, kitty. I've got concerns. I don't want to make a breeding ground for little snakies. Or big snakies. Well, kitty, I think we're going to have to tell our friend Amazon we need some more staples and landscaping fabric. See if I can get it in here within the next day or two. That's a little bit of a setback. Isn't it, kitty? Yeah. She's a good girl. Yeah. Let's go, girl. Feel bad about that snake. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of comments now, people saying, why the heck did you kill it? But I got kids. It was trying to go under the porch. It kept snapping at me. I could not get it somewhere safe. So I just felt like I needed to protect the family from the snake popping out. Ooh, scared me again. You see me jump? I forgot it was right here dead. I walked right up against the dead body again. It freaked me out. I had a heart attack, didn't I? Yeah, I don't like snakes. Nope. Even though that one was the one I killed, it still scared me. All right. All right, we're back out at the garden. It's been 3 days since I was out here last. Got some more landscaping fabric in the mail and got some staples. So my goal tonight is to finish this thing, get this section here covered with landscaping fabric. That's my number one goal. My second goal is, please no more snakes. All right, so I'm gonna put you on time lapse and let you watch my progress. Let's go. All right, so we got the entire garden covered with landscaping fabric. I will say I'm more impressed with the first rolls that I got. They were 6 foot wide, and I feel like this brand lays out a lot smoother. The 3 foot wide sections, this kind of more wrinkly area here that I filled in, this is my second batch that I got, and I don't think it's quite as good quality, but it'll do. So I appreciate you watching and following along. And yeah, if you want to see how this does long term, make sure you hit that subscribe button and I'll let you know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.